Hello and welcome to another episode of Straight Talk with PC. Today, let me break down a legal mechanism which is dominating primetime news and being discussed on social media as well as mainstream channels.
Zero FIR. Zero FIR.
The Zero FIR. Most citizens believe that if a crime happens in Delhi, you can report it to the Delhi police only, and that if you try to report it in Noida or Mumbai, they will tell you that it's not in their hands. That's a wrong notion to have. The Zero FIR is a tool designed to shatter these very territorial boundaries so that no citizen is denied an ability to report to the police station a crime that's taking place. Let's look at the exact mechanics of how this works under the Indian law. A Zero FIR allows a complaint to be registered at any police station across India, regardless of where the crime took place. And in this case, instead of getting a standard chronological serial number, it is assigned the number 0. It has no number, it is a number 0. So what this does is the local police station records the initial details and then is legally bound to transfer the file to the police station under whose jurisdiction that crime has been committed. So the landmark Supreme Court ruling in the state of Andhra Pradesh versus Punnati Ramulu established that police cannot refuse a complaint based on territory. It gained massive administrative backing after the unfortunate 2012 Nirbhaya case to prevent bureaucratic delays in urgent situations. Under Section 173 of the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, the BNSS, recording a Zero FIR for cognizable offences is explicit and mandatory duty for police officers. No police officer can deny registering a Zero FIR. So how did this process play out recently and why is it being discussed? It is because of the legal firestorm involving Ruchika Singh. This case highlights how Zero FIR was weaponized to try and silence her voice or to scare her. And Ruchika is only 15 years old. Do I agree with her language? Absolutely not. But would I want to see her arrested for it? Absolutely no. So on July 23rd, as you're all aware, Jantar Mantar protests broke out. There were lathi charges and there were several videos that were going viral. One of them was of 15-year-old protester Ruchika Singh using extremely objectionable and foul language targeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So in this case, it of course led to a lot of outrage. Many were offended. One of the Supreme Court advocates, Smriti Singh, when she watched these viral videos and decided to take action. Instead of travelling to Delhi, Smriti Singh went to the Noida police and demanded a Zero FIR. And the Noida police registered a Zero FIR. The case was registered under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, specifically under Section 352 for intentional insult, 353 subsection 1 for public mischief, and 356 subsection 1 for criminal defamation. True to how the tool works, Noida police registered it as a Zero FIR and transferred it to the Delhi police at the Parliament Street station for further investigation. However, the Delhi police clarified they haven't converted into a regular FIR yet, amid revelations from her lawyer that she's actually a 15-year-old minor who has since posted an apology video. You will also remember the selfie video of Prime Minister Modi where he spoke on this particular issue and said he forgives her for that. The Zero FIR was built as a shield to protect victims of violent crime from bureaucratic denial. But as the Ruchika Singh case demonstrates, it can just as easily be used as a sword to police speech from halfway across the state line. As we were discussing earlier, we must also tackle a question that makes the establishment incredibly uncomfortable. Is India's enforcement of abusive language laws consistent, or is it highly selective? We live in a digital landscape where a single viral video can make you or break you and can even land you in a police lockup overnight. In the recent case, which we were discussing earlier, of Ruchika Singh, a citizen went and filed a Zero FIR and wanted action taken against Ruchika Singh. However, she turned out to be a 15-year-old and investigation stopped, and even the Prime Minister made a video where he chose to forgive them. But this case exposes a much deeper, uglier double standard. It isn't just about politics. It is about gender. It's about the gendered abuse used to insult people they are attacking. It's about how society and a legal system uniquely puts the entire onus on women to uphold purity of language, while giving men a permanent free pass to be as vulgar as they like. Even the Prime Minister's video focused only on the women protesters' language and chose to forgive them. A lot of members of parliament of the Bharatiya Janata Party went on to even call them. The gutter generation went on to call them things such as ugly women who won't even be good housewives. The application of speech related laws reveals a massive gap. There is what the Supreme Court says, and there is how the police machinery actually functions. The Supreme Court of India has ruled very clearly any vulgar language or crude insults do not automatically equal to criminal obscenity. To be a crime, the speech must incite some kind of hateful action or lustful action. Yet local police routinely ignores this threshold to launch immediate crackdowns on ordinary citizens. Indian law treats insults to public official under standard defamation laws. There is no special VIP protection clause or VIP privilege that is given to so-called big political faces. But in practice, if a citizen insults a powerful politician, multiple state forces mobilize instantly. But if an ordinary citizen faces brutal abuse, doxing, or threats online, they are told to wait in line. I've seen this happen during Sully by bully deals, how difficult it was for me to file an FIR and get it investigated. Now let's talk about the unspoken rule of Indian society. The gender trap, just in case of Sully by bully deals, which I mentioned. Why does a woman using abusive language trigger such an immediate national meltdown, while men using the exact same words are dismissed as locker room talk or locker room anger? And totally, some anger that has erupted and disruptive. In India, women are culturally burdened with being the custodians of morality, culture, and sharm. Parivar ka sharm. When a man abuses in public, society calls it aggressive, disruptive, or unruly. But when a woman uses this similar language, she is branded as characterless, uncultured, and a threat to societal values. Like I mentioned, some women MPs of the ruling dispensation had a lot of ugly things to say about these women. Look at the backlash against women protesters. The moment a woman speaks up aggressively, the focus instantly shifts away from what she's protesting about. The issue, in this case, about their future, about the paper leak, everything stood forgotten and centered entirely on how she spoke and what she spoke. Her anger is delegitimized, her issue is delegitimized because she didn't use ladylike language. This cultural bias leads directly into law enforcement. Police and lower courts are far quicker to act against a woman using foul language because it shocks the patriarchal conscience of the system. Meanwhile, millions of women face daily horrific sexual explicit abuse online from male trolls. Abuse that even includes rape threats. And the police machinery usually tells us to move on, develop a thicker skin, and ignore the internet noise. What we are looking at is a system where the process itself becomes the punishment. When enforcement is selective, the law stops acting as a neutral arbiter of peace. It begins acting as a tool of social conditioning. If the law heavily penalizes an average woman or minor for foul-mouthed rant, while totally leaving those powerful political figures completely untouched when they use highly abusive, polarizing, hateful language or rhetoric on stage. The system isn't broken. It is operating precisely by design. It protects political egos and it protects patriarchal comfort. We have to look at past individual viral videos and look at the larger precedent. Are we enforcing laws to protect public order, or are we enforcing them to keep people under check and keep them silent and compliant? So as I speak today, thousands of students in Jharkhand are participating in a massive indefinite hunger strike, and it is in its 12th day at Jaipal Singh Munda Stadium. Why are they on the streets? It is the same toxic loop plaguing India's youth: paper leaks, systemic corruption, and zero administrative transparency. The breaking point in this particular case happened right after the 14th JPSC Civil Services preliminary exam held on April 19, 2026. This is a prestigious exam meant to select the state's next deputy collectors and DSPs. The results dropped on 2nd July, and as soon as they dropped, the red flags went up instantly. A carbon copy of a successful candidate's OMR answer sheet went viral online. What did the sheet reveal? The sheet revealed that this candidate qualified for the mains despite answering only 48 out of 100 questions in the first paper. Obviously, everyone was up in arms. The Jharkhand Public Service Commission failed to make individual marks, category-wise cutoffs, or standard OMR sheets public despite that demand. The students just did not find a flaw. They uncovered a system where merit is being auctioned to the highest bidder. So this isn't a small flash protest which is happening. This is again a unified youth uprising that has been building day after day, led by student leaders like Devendranath Mahato, who is currently on an indefinite hunger strike in Jharkhand. The aspirants have laid down an uncompromising ultimatum. What they want from the government is that the 14th JPSC preliminary tests are thrown out entirely. They say they have zero faith in the local state CID and they're demanding an independent probe under the Central Bureau of Investigation as well as the ED, the Enforcement Directorate, into JPSC and JSSC recruitment agencies. What they were asking for are structural changes, including a mandatory fifth option of not attempted on OMR sheets to prevent backdated fraud. And how has the government reacted? And all the mainstream channels are focusing on that. The Chief Minister, Hemant Soren, has said that the government stands with the youth. And they have also set up a high-level committee under the Technical Education Minister to submit a report in 1 to 3 months. That's the time they are asking for, 1 to 3 months. For a student who has sacrificed years of their life sleeping on a thin mattress in a rented room, a 3-month committee is nothing but an administrative burial for their demands. This is what they believe. In viral videos, the local students have also mentioned clearly that they do not want any outside political groups to be a part of the protest. They say they want their movement to remain peaceful, clean, and fiercely student-led, free from partisan slogans. This is what the students are asking. However, the news media is going and asking, where is everybody? The youth of Jharkhand are telling everyone that the government needs to ensure there's accountability, that their government has to be held accountable. They want the case handed over to an independent agency, cleaning up the JPSC and the transparency that they seek on the streets currently. I'm hoping that the state government would be empathetic, sensitive to their demand, and would ensure that they would reassure all the student protesters that their demands are not just legitimate, but something that they will look into as urgently and as priority as they are demanding for it. What do you think about it? Do let me know. Now to another very important and interesting take this week that we saw. If you think Indian elections are entirely predictable, the August 2026 Assembly bypoll results just threw that theory completely out of the window. The ruling BJP suffered 2 stinging, highly symbolic body blows in its absolute fortresses. In Bihar, ace political strategist and poll strategist turned politician Prashant Kishore didn't just win an election, he demolished a 30-year-old BJP bastion in Bankipur. In Madhya Pradesh, similarly, the Congress party stared down the entire state machinery and retained its critical seat in Datia. This isn't just about 2 legislative assembly seats. This is a massive warning shot to the status quo. Let's break down exactly what happened and why the national narrative just fundamentally shifted and what has led to it. There'll of course be counter opinions on this, but this is my opinion. Let's look at the numbers from Bihar. The biggest setback came from Bankipur constituency in Patna. Jan Suraj Party, founded by Prashant Kishore, who made his formal electoral debut and comfortably not just defeated BJP's Neeraj Kumar Sinha by a massive 19,324 votes, but sent a strong message across the length and breadth of this country. PK brought in over 64,000 votes, while the RJD finished a distant third. To understand the scale of this upset, you will have to understand Bankipur. The BJP had not lost this urban seat since 1995. It has been with them since 1995. It was considered one of the most safest, untouchable, upper caste urban strongholds for the Saffron Party in all of India. And guess what? It was recently vacated by Nitin Nabeen when he was promoted as a BJP national president and to the Rajya Sabha. The BJP didn't take this lightly. BJP never takes any election lightly. They deployed over 40 star campaigners, including Union Ministers Giriraj Singh and Nityanand Rai, and Chief Minister Samrat Chaudhary, against whom the anger continues to build. But it didn't matter. Why is Prashant Kishore's victory incredibly significant? First, Jan Suraj is no longer a spoiler party which is dividing votes. After failing to win a single seat in 2025 Bihar Assembly elections, critics wrote Prashant Kishore off as a mere backroom strategist who couldn't handle ground politics. This win changes that. It establishes Jan Suraj as a legitimate, viable third alternative to both the NDA and the RJD-led alliance in Bihar. Second, it proves voter fatigue against traditional caste equations. Prashant Kishore won an upper caste, trader-dominated urban seat on a platform centered purely on governance, education, and development. As Prashant famously declared right after the win, the 30-year gap has been filled in just 30 days. Now let's pivot to Madhya Pradesh. While the media spotlight was fixed on Patna, an equally fierce battleground was playing out in Datia. And the result? The Congress veteran Ghanshyam Singh clinched a decisive victory, defeating the BJP's Ashutosh Tiwari by 6,016 votes. This was a high-stake by-election. It was triggered after Congress MLA Rajendra Bharti was disqualified following a court conviction. The BJP saw this as a golden opportunity to recapture the region and recapture the lost seat. They deliberately denied a ticket to former Home Minister Narottam Mishra, who lost here in 2023, and pulled all the weight behind the other candidate, Tiwari. There was also some conflict that happened, but that was curtailed. The ground reality is brutal for the ruling party. Reports show that even in the specific municipal ward where Narottam Mishra lives, the Congress candidate led by 27 votes. Now, you would ask me, why is the Datia win significant? It is significant because this victory is a blow to Chief Minister Mohan Yadav's administration. It signals deep-seated public resentment against what State President of Congress, Jeetu Patwari, called the corruption and arrogance of this local state machinery. Now, in the case for the Congress, Datia acts as a booster shot, and very obviously so. It proves that despite the BJP's formidable election management system, a unified Congress party, which was in the opposition, can successfully defend its territory on the ground. It also lays down a highly competitive foundation ahead of the 2028 Madhya Pradesh state elections. So, when you look at Bankipur and Datia together, the message from the Indian voter is absolutely clear. Overconfidence is a liability, and no fortress is permanent in Indian politics and Indian democracy. Prashant Kishore has successfully transitioned from the back rooms of power to the floor of the legislature. Meanwhile, the Congress has proven it still has teeth in traditional state battlegrounds. The BJP, on the other hand, is left with a heavy dose of introspection. What do you think? Is Prashant Kishore's victory the start of a brand new political wave in Bihar, or is it just a localized bypoll? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let me hear what you have to think about this. Thank you so much for watching Straight Talk with PC, and look forward to meeting you again next week. Till then, keep watching, keep staying informed, keep sharing, keep subscribing, and do not forget to press the bell icon to alert you for all updates instantly. Thank you.